Hi, I'm Bob Marcenich with Glacier HR Services, and I help people solve people problems at work. I'm a professional and executive coach. I present training seminars and keynote speeches to organizations, and it makes a difference. If you're not making mistakes, you're doing something wrong. If you're not letting your people make mistakes, that's a big mistake. But there's some pain that goes along with mistakes, and let me share with you a personal story. A little bit ago, I was doing some work in an organization, and I'd been working with them for a bit of time. And we decided to do some information around compensation. And I sent out an email, and it was an overshare. I didn't realize that it had gone to some people that it shouldn't have gone to. And that was a bit embarrassing, a bit devastating, a bit hard to take, because it was a doozy of a mistake. I cleaned it up. I apologized to the person that it affected the most. I cleaned up the rest of it as best I could, and then started moving forward. Well, there were a couple of important things I learned from that. One, after I was done and I had apologized and I cleaned stuff up as best I could, I had a lot more respect for myself. I felt good about myself, and I was able to put my head on my pillow that night and go to bed. Okay? But I can also tell you that in the midst of that mistake, when it first happened and I realized it, it felt awful. It felt devastating. It felt like, oh my God, how did I do this? What was I thinking? What is going to happen? And what I realized once I cleaned it up is I was probably harder on myself than anybody else was. The other thing I realized is after I moved forward, and the next day when I went into work, everybody was fine. I was fine. I wasn't dead. I wasn't, the end of my life, although that's what it felt like at times, but I'd made it through it. I got past the mistake and I learned from it. And with that, I was able to go on. So what I'm going to suggest to you is, yes, you'll make mistakes, and you should make mistakes, because that tells you you're taking risk and you're learning. As long as you learn from the mistake, you'll be able to go forward. You'll be able to get past it. So with every mistake, make sure you learn from it. Make sure you clean it up, because that will be the healing that needs to happen. With your people, when they make mistakes, make sure you help them work through it and move past it. Yes, they might need a reprimand or a little bit of discipline or whatever, depending on the mistake. But again, if you have a high performer, sometimes they'll be harder on themselves than you could ever be. So it's more about getting them past the mistake and getting them back on track. But do that, because that's where the healing and the success comes, from mistakes. So my point is that sometimes mistakes feel worse to us than they do to anybody else. But everybody, the people that were affected, yourself included, you have to get through it. And the best way to get through it is by admitting, apologizing, and learning. Taking some learning from the situation and moving forward. And if you can do that, you can face just about anything and realize that on the other end of it, yeah, it isn't the end of the world. I made it, and I'm a better person for it. So if you like this information, please press the like button. This is the kind of information that I share in my seminars and my coaching, and obviously we can go in depth in those scenarios. But if you like this information, I like to know, because it tells me that yes, I'm on track. If you'd like to see more of this information in your inbox on an ongoing basis, subscribe. That's the way to get that information there on a timely basis. If you have questions or comments, drop those in the bottom. Let me know, because I love answering questions and I like connecting with people and finding out what resonates with each of us. Sometimes we'll be agreeing, sometimes we'll be disagreeing, but let me tell you, I learn a lot from those interactions. Don't think that I don't learn anything in these interactions. And that's why I love doing this, is because I learn so much from all the other people that are out there that have comments and suggestions. So please leave those for me. So until next time, make sure you make work fun. Be present in everything that you do, and laugh. laugh here and there now and then.